I've built a Lego spaceship. It's not my first and it won't be my last, but it's the first I've ever seen that uses Duplo railroad tracks. That makes it pretty special. The tracks really define the ship, so I had to fight my dad urge to call it the railgun. I decided on the crescent instead, due to the shape they bring. From the central assembly we have two prongs, one on each side with a cockpit in the middle. In my mind, these two prongs each fire a laser that coalesce into a larger one. Is it for mining or for handling some Blacktron troublemakers? Probably both. The cockpit is one of my favorite parts of the ship. I really like the shape of it, with the bent tail that converges into the point at the front. The transparent yellow glass is a construction piece, either from Hero Factory or Bionicle. I picked it up as part of a second-hand lot, so I don't really know which. It opens up by first lifting up the tail, and there we have the pilot. I call him Bill. I don't really know why, he just seems like a Bill to me. If you bend the tail all the way forward, you'll find the robot compartment. Here we have Bob. Bob sits on a small vehicle. It's a sled that detaches. Bob's broad, burly shoulders are great for comforting hugs and making repairs around the ship. If you've been looking carefully, you might see something that I've had to forgo on this thing. It's pretty important. The controls. Well, I really wanted to maintain the shape, and the glass made it really hard to cram them in. It certainly bugs me, and if it bugs you, let's just say that people control spaceships with their mind in this timeline. Or maybe Bob does it. He's got two levers. He can control it. In the back we have the engines. There's a transparent red line in the middle, and as we all know, transparent red equals power, so it goes forward. It was hard to continue the curve created by the railroad tracks, but I discovered that the old monorail tracks were pretty close. And the more tracks, the better, right? The ship also has a bottom. There's not too much to say about it, but I really like the patterns created by the repetitive parts usage here. Building this thing, I got a bit philosophical. How and why do you turn railroad tracks into a spaceship? Well, for me, it's a pretty good time to reflect on creativity and its different forms. Let me try to make an analogy. A creative project is a journey, and the finished project is your destination, this house. Your starting point is where this little figure stands. If you want to reach your destination fast, you walk on the road. It's efficient and it gets you there. But you can also allow yourself to take detours. Smell a flower or pet a cat. You'll reach the end goal slower, but you'll experience more along the way. In this analogy for creativity, the green line represents a result focus. You have a goal, you make a plan and execute. The destination is the goal. The red line represents an exploration focus. You play around with your medium to see where it takes you. The journey is the goal. This ship was definitely an exploratory build. I found the tracks in my daughter's Duplo bin when we were playing, and it seemed like they had untapped potential. Smelling the flowers on this exploratory journey meant taking the time to understand this particular part better. I discovered some good things. The side is exactly 2 plates high, and the middle is exactly 1 brick high. It also means that you can attach a lot of things to the bottom. For instance, a 4x8 Lego plate. It's a bit trickier at the ends. You have to build around a bit, but we can make it work. But that's it for the good parts, I'm afraid. Now for the bad. The actual tracks, they do their own thing. I couldn't find any other part in my collection that exactly matches this curve. And the tracks are also sloping at a weird angle, so it's hard to use the area where the wheel usually runs. And then this little jump here, it really destroys the nice 2-plate height going on. That little jump in particular really bugged me. Here, I'll show you. See, nice two plates there, and then we try to add something and ah! How annoying is that gap? In the end though, everything worked out fine. I managed to connect 6 tracks together, 3 on top and 3 on bottom, and the ship just grew from there. I approach a lot of my hobbies this way. Whether it be woodworking, programming, drawing, Lego building or something else, I usually start with shapes or materials and fill in the gaps. It opens up for surprises, both in the process and the result, and it's a very nice way to learn things. But this process is also slow and unpredictable, and you don't know what the finished product will be when you start. Many times it is not as good as if you had made a plan and followed it. This sometimes gives me imposter syndrome. I feel my finished projects are inferior to what others produce, or I feel that my process is less professional. When I get into that mode, I try to be kinder to myself. I can only make the way I make, and that is fine. So with that said, I really am thrilled with how this particular ship came out. I mean, look at it! It's so cool! After all that remains is answering the most important thing. Is this ship swooshable? Well, looking at it, I really want to swoosh it, but it's pretty fragile and easily comes apart. So 5 out of 10 for swooshability. Good feeling, flimsy execution. Thanks for watching, everyone.